Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Profitability Power Hour. I'm Wendy Y. Bailey. I'm your host for this weekly Facebook Live session focused on profitability. Every week I share a new profitability strategy. I give you some information on how you can activate in that area. And I just love giving the content that I share. Profitability is a topic I talk about a lot with my clients. And I want to share that wisdom, that knowledge, that expertise that I have in that area with you. I'm Wendy Y. Bailey, your Master Business and Sales Coach. I'm also known as your Income Acceleration Mentor. And last week we talked about part 3 of 3. It was all about blogging, vlogging, and live streaming. And last week was the 3rd installment where I specifically talked about vlogging. If you're interested in checking out the replay, let me tell you where you can go to get the replay. You can go to, there we go. You can go to the replay and get it there at youtube.com, Wendy Y. Bailey. That's for the replay. While that's flashing across your screen, let me tell you a little bit about myself. Everybody calls me Wendy Y. Yes, you do use the other Y, because if you look for Wendy Bailey online, you're going to get the psychologist, the attorney, the musician. But if you Google Wendy Y. Bailey, you're going to get me all day long.
I just realized I don't have my headset on. Sorry about that. Hopefully you guys caught the beginning of it. I'm a 16-year veteran master business and sales coach. I just quietly celebrated my 16th anniversary this past weekend. It was quiet because I just felt really good about it, and I wanted to be sort of modest and not really say a whole lot about it, but I've started to share, and I've actually got a gift for the people who are loyal in my tribe that I'm sharing tomorrow. It's sort of a surprise for them. They know that I'm sharing a gift. They don't know what it is. But I've been in this industry for 16 years officially. And there's some things that I've learned along the way, and throughout the show, what I do is I tell you a little bit about that. I talk a little bit about my journey in 16 years, and I try to give you content that you can take action on right away. So if you want to watch the replay, you can go to youtube.com/Wendy Y. Bailey. So today on episode 13, I think is where we are, I'm going to be talking about networking for profit. Networking for profit. This is a topic that you may think you already have a lot of information about it, but I promise you there's always more to learn when you start talking about networking. And if you're focused on profitability, there are some things you need to understand about networking that will help you. Thank you, Carol. I realized when I looked over and I saw it sitting on my computer that I did not have my headset. So hopefully you guys got the first part of what I said. So networking for profit. Let me make sure I've covered everything. If you're watching the replay, go ahead and hit the like button, or in the comments, do hashtag replay so that I know that you are watching. Please share the video, I hope this time it's about quality rather than quantity. And what I mean by that is, even though you missed me the first part on my headset, hopefully you feel confident that you can share something that others will benefit from. Share the video, share the video, share the video. Hit share right below the video and share the video. I appreciate it. Thank you in advance. So let's talk about networking. When I talk about networking, I'm talking about online and offline networking. So online, virtual networking, and offline, in-person, live networking. So there's some statistics I want you to have around networking. First, I want to tell you that there are 6 billion people on the planet. 6 billion people on the planet. There are also 7 million people on the internet, 7 million with an M people on the internet. 1.6 billion, I think it's probably over 2 now. My stats are a little out of date. It's probably right at 2 billion people on Facebook. There's 16 million business pages on Facebook. There are 5 new profiles per second created on Facebook. There are 400 plus million users on LinkedIn. There are 2 new users per second who join LinkedIn. 81% of business to business or B2B marketers use LinkedIn for new product launches. There are nearly 300 million people on Twitter, and there are more than 200 million people on Instagram. And I tried to search to find out how many organizations there are, live organizations that cater to entrepreneurs. The number was so great, I could not even get that statistic. So, what I want you to understand is there's always room for you to network. There's always room for you to network, whether it's virtual networking or it's live networking. There's so many opportunities and so many possibilities. So, you've got to be strategic about how you network. You've got to be strategic about it. The first thing I want to make sure you know is networking really is about interaction. It's about interaction. It's about touches. When I talk about interaction, I want you to know that how you connect with people, whether it's virtually or live, the interaction is what matters most. It's not that it's on Skype. It's not that it's on Facebook. It's not that it's on LinkedIn. It's the quality of the interaction that makes the difference. And the other thing about interaction, when people talk to you, when they see you, at a live event, you become a real person. I can remember a couple of years ago going to an event and somebody that I did not know ran up to me and said, "Hey, you're Wendy Y." And I thought, yes, I am. It's great to meet you. I didn't know who she was, but we ended up interacting. What I love about that is that was more than one interaction. She had made a connection with me on social media, so she felt like she knew me when she saw me live. And the touches are about making sure people are constantly seeing you in the marketplace. So if you're on LinkedIn, if your ideal clients are on LinkedIn, you go to LinkedIn, you go to Facebook, you go to Instagram, wherever your ideal client is, so that when you do live networking, it's really clear who you are. It's totally clear. And those touches really do add up. The touches really do add up. Thanks so much for being here. Be sure to share the video, hit hashtag replay if you're just joining us and watching the replay. So, touches. It used to be that if someone saw you, if somebody read an email from you 7 times or had 7 touches or 7 interactions with you, that was plenty for them to get to know, like, and trust you. Well, times have changed, so that number has gone up. So you've got to look at the number of people, the number of times that you can potentially touch someone and make an impression and have that ability to create the know, like, trust, and experience factor has gone up. It's about 12 or 15 now. So think about your networking in that vein. You're networking across social media. Each one is a touch. Every time someone likes one of your posts, every time someone comments to your blog post, every time someone friends you or connects you on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or Instagram, wherever you're there, every time is a single touch. So the more touches you have, the closer you are to really networking and getting to know that client, potential client. The other thing I want you to understand is networking is also about value. In the span of a short period of time, you have to connect with a potential client, whether it's live or virtual, and have them get to know you, like you, trust you, where you are interested in who they are, what's going on in their world, and there's a connection around how you can serve and support whatever they do, wherever they are. Okay. So value is about making sure someone understands the value you can potentially bring in their world. People want to know that it's not just about, hey, I see some other folks are jumping on. It's not just about, hey, how you doing? Let me give you my card. I'm on to the next one. Recently, I was at a networking event, a live networking event. And that's exactly what somebody did. They gave me their postcard that had information on it. Okay, this isn't it, but I just want to show you what it looks like. They gave me their postcard. They put it in my hand. I was standing in a group of 3. They put it in everybody's hand, and then they went on to the next one. There was no introduction. There was no interaction. There was no connection. And when I got home, I tossed her postcard because I thought there's no relationship there and I'm not interested in keeping it. It wasn't something I was interested in, but if she had invested the time to interact with the group, including me, I might have been more interested in what the postcard said or at minimum in getting to know her better. So pay attention to the interaction, pay attention to the touches, and most of all, pay attention to the value. When I talk about value, it sounds like I'm saying give away content. And that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is how you show up in the networking space really gives you an opportunity to showcase your value in the marketplace. I'm always tickled when I go to networking events and people say, oh, when you introduced yourself, I realized I need what you do. Can you talk to me a little bit more about it? Or I know I can benefit from working with you. It isn't about the time, it's about what you say, it's about the kind of interaction you have, it's about the value you give in that short couple of seconds sometimes you have to introduce yourself and extend an opportunity to interact with someone else. So value is really, really important. The next strategy or the next tip I want to give you is all about trust. Trust. When you're networking, you're creating the opportunity for someone to know, like, and trust you. And I also say experience you. As people grow to know, like, and trust you, as people grow to experience what it means to be around you, all of a sudden they really understand that you are someone they can trust in the marketplace. Case in point, I went to an event. I'm trying to remember the timing of it. I went to an event in When's the first event I went to? I went to an event in March. Yeah, March is when I went to a live networking event. I sat at a table. Each of us got to introduce ourselves. Some people came up to me later and said, I want to stay in touch. I did my follow up. I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. I did my follow up. I took some selfies. And then I went to a social event and saw the person who sat next to me at that event. Okay, so that's twice she saw me. Of course, by then I had already sent her an email saying it was great meeting you. Here's some information that I think might help you. Okay, so that's 3 touches. Then I went to another event, a live event, and she was at this live event. I said, hey, how you doing? Good to see you. We hugged like we knew each other. We took another selfie. I went to another event that we're up to 4 touches, right? I went to another event. I knew she was going to be there. And sure enough, she was. We're up to 5 touches. So then I made a phone call to her after that. And I thanked her for helping me out in a situation in the parking lot of all things. But I thanked her. And she said, great, I want you on my radio show. So all of a sudden, that one networking connection that had a total of 6 touches ended up offering the opportunity for me to be on a radio show. It's a live radio show. And it's videotaped as well. So it's live streamed and there's an audio feed for the actual radio. So I was like, cool, this is wonderful. I hadn't had that kind of experience before. So, but it's all about building trust. The interaction, the touches do that. The value does that. The trust is built by you being consistent. When somebody sees you that many times and somebody interacts with you that many times, they get to know how you operate. The thing that I know about having this kind of strategy and understanding this about networking is when you are networking and you are connecting with people, people get to see how you operate. People get to see what you do. This particular connection I'm talking about actually said to me when I called her, yeah, I want you on my radio show. And as we talked and got to know each other, it became very, very clear that there was an opportunity for me to support her. And I said, here's how I want to support you. Are you open to that? And she said, absolutely. She said to me after the second touch, I think when I saw her the third time, that she knew that I had already looked her up online because I had given her that indication. That let her know that I cared about her. That let her know that I was invested in getting to know her. So there's an opportunity for you to build trust at every stage of your networking. The next strategy I want to talk to you about is connection. Connection. Remember I talked about the person who was walking around giving her postcard to everybody? That's not connection. Connection is let me look at you in the eyes, let me listen to what you're saying, and let me respond to you in a way that says, I do understand, I get it. I know who you are. I hear you. I feel you. I have a level of concern and compassion about you. And somehow I'm going to see if I can do something to support you. Everybody I talk to at a networking event, a live networking event, is not necessarily my ideal client. But what I want you to get clear about is sometimes they're the connector. They're the person that can connect you to your most ideal client. They're the person that can introduce you to an organization where your ideal client is. So connection is really, really important. Connection is really, really important. And it's about you listening more than you talking. Okay. Listen, look in somebody's eyes if it's live, and respond to what somebody says based on what they said, not based on some canned response you have to everything. Okay. This is about relationship building, and relationships are absolutely the currency for the 21st century. So if you're not about building relationships, you're really missing out on opportunities to connect and increase your bottom line profits at the same time. So the last tip I'm going to give you is all about generosity. It's about generosity. When you are thinking, how can I give, not what can I get, all of a sudden the possibilities become endless. Okay. So think about being generous. Sometimes that's being generous with your time. I have spent an hour and a half just getting to know someone, and at the end of the call, they ended up enrolling in some program or hiring me as their coach. Sometimes it's generosity of time. Sometimes it's generosity of spirit, where somebody may be going through something. They may not be your ideal client then, but it's about being able to listen and be generous with your care and concern for that person. Generosity goes over huge when you are talking about networking and connecting, whether it's live or virtual. Every time I take a conversation that I've made with an online connection and I bring it offline and I start talking to them, it's a whole different ball game. I'm getting to know who they are and what's happening in their world. I'm supporting them. I'm not selling them on anything. I'm talking to them and I'm being generous. I'm being giving of my time. I'm being giving of my expertise. I'm sharing where I can. Sometimes it's about a referral. I had a contact recently with someone. I met him at a conference about this time last year that I went to, and we stayed in touch. When I met her, like I do at all of my events. Hopefully, you're taking notes of this. I came home, looked at my laptop, looked at social media, and I connected with her on social media, and I sent her an email because I had her card. We had spent some time chatting. I sent her, great to meet you, glad to have met you. It was wonderful. And it was a personalized response. It wasn't like standard for everybody. And we've stayed in touch over the last year. Well, in my follow up calls, I called her last week, I think it was. And she wants to come to one of my events, but the date, the timing wasn't right for her. But she said, I've been watching you on social media, and you do a lot of things on social media, and I've really gotten to know who you are, and I kind of see you. You're kind of mentoring me. So instead of me coming to that event at a later date, why don't you would you be willing to do the event for my tribe? And I said, sure. And let me just say that the bottom line of it is we worked out possibilities for her to be the host and to earn a seat in her own program, that program that we talked about. She's going to earn an opportunity to earn commissions based on promoting the event and getting her tribe enrolled in it. Okay, it's virtual for me. I don't have to go anywhere. It's still virtual for me. And to the tune of about $6,000. That's one contact, that's one phone call, that's networking for profits. Okay. So you got to be generous. You've got to help. And the other thing that I did with her that I want to make sure I say is that I was very, very careful listening to her, being generous with her, and she needed a referral. And I said, let me introduce you to this person. And I did introduce them, and they've already been in contact. So what I'm saying to you is there's a way to network for profit, and you want to know how to network for profit. If you're just watching us, be sure that you are hitting the like button or the share button below. If you're watching the replay, in the comments, be sure that you put hashtag replay so that I know you were here. I do this Profitability Power Hour because I want you to have an opportunity to see some of the things I talk about at one of my programs. One of my programs is called Income Acceleration Day. Income Acceleration Day. Remember, you can watch the replay at youtube.com/Wendy Y. Bailey. So Income Acceleration Day, let's talk about that a little bit. Income Acceleration Day is a virtual group coaching intensive. It's very intimate. It's virtual. We do it online, and it's very interactive. It's not me just teaching and pouring into you. There's a lot of interaction because it's based on activation and implementation into your business. I don't know if Carol is still here, but she was in my very first Income Acceleration Day when I did it as a live event in Atlanta. And I got to tell you, it's evolved. Ever since I've been doing it, it's evolved. I tweak it a little bit here, I tweak it a little bit there. And this particular Income Acceleration Day that's coming up on Saturday, June 9th, is especially great because now I'm introducing the Income Acceleration Roadmap to the people who will be in attendance. There are a couple of spots still left. You can go to incomeaccelerationday.com and enroll. And the cool thing about enrolling in Income Acceleration Day, when you go to that site, there's a pop-up for the Ideal Client Clarity Workbook. It has some long name that I gave it, but that's what it is. It helps you to really get clear about your most ideal client. And when you download that Ideal Client Clarity Workbook, what you'll find is that it is the first step in you starting your journey toward income acceleration. There are some other pieces to the roadmap that I've shared, but I'm going to dig deep into on Income Acceleration Day. And you can go to incomeaccelerationday.com and enroll now. If you're just joining me, remember that we are here every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern. I usually try to spend about 15 to 25 minutes with you sharing content. And today's content was all about networking for profit, networking for profit. I think last time I said I was going to talk about income producing activities, but I'm actually saving that for the next time that I'm with you on the Profitability Power Hour. Remember, you can go to incomeaccelerationday.com, grab your free download. You can also enroll in Income Acceleration Day. The next one is this coming Saturday. Enrollment for Saturday closes tomorrow. That's Thursday. So if you can't make it this time, be sure to check back, get the download, and I'll be sure you know about the next Income Acceleration Day. I'm Wendy Y. Bailey, known as your Income Acceleration Mentor, and I've been excited to share this content with you. Sometimes I'm a little bit more hyper than other times, and I think today was I'm hyper day. So hopefully you found benefit from it, and I'd love to continue serving you and supporting you on the Profitability Power Hour. See you next time. Take care.